Here on a beautiful Saturday morning with Mr. Lee Jamison. He is doing a beautiful mural here in downtown Huntsville. Lee, before we talk about this beautiful painting, I just wanted to ask you just a little bit about your connection to Huntsville. You've been here for a hot minute.
Yeah, a little bit. We moved here in 1983. Originally, I tried out for a position with the museum at Sam Houston and lost out, they tell me, by one. But I was always interested in Huntsville's connection to Texas history, and recently found out that Huntsville was actually the place where the first history of Texas was written. And that it shocked me, because that's a piece of low-hanging promotional fruit that nobody's been taking advantage of. So I thought, well, it's about time. So I was already talking to the folks who own this building about doing a mural wall here, and that's the thing kind of unfolded from there, with the theme generally being Huntsville's contributions to Texas history, the telling of that history, and also just significant historical contributions in and of itself.
Well, Lee, one thing I know about artists, when you see a blank wall, it is a canvas, and I know you've dreamed being able to paint on this wall for some time. Just let us know about how this dream came to pass and how much you're enjoying it. It's a beautiful mural that you're putting together, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. This wall has been calling to me for about 40 years, and it was not one of the walls that was involved in the Richard Haas mural collection in town. Huntsville has the largest collection of Richard Haas murals in the world for any city, and this wall was not a part of that because they didn't want to give the easement to the city for it. So for 40 years it kind of just sat there like honey for Winnie the Pooh, calling to me, and so when the chance came to get an opportunity to design for the wall, I was all over it.
Well, finally, we'll let you get back to work. I know you're very busy today, but maybe highlight, you've talked a little bit about just how much this means to you, but some of the inspiration for what you're painting here on this wall. I mean, this is beautiful. Murals in our community are becoming a very known thing, but maybe highlight just some of the inspiration of why you chose to paint what you're painting here on this wall and how much it's going to mean to this Huntsville community.
Well, the first thing is we've got Henderson Yoakum up there in color. He was the person who, while he was the librarian for the old Austin College, the Austin Hall building at Sam Houston, was originally the location of Austin College, which later moved to Sherman. But he was the librarian for Austin College, and during his tenure there, he wrote a 2-volume history of Texas through 1849, I think it was. And then other folks, well, Sam Houston speaks for himself. And I imagine that an awful lot of what was known about Texas history at that time went through him and people associated with him. But then we also have others who are of great historical significance to the community. At the far end over there, Anna Pennybacker was in the first graduating class at Sam Houston Normal Institute, as Sam Houston was originally named. That was, her graduating class was 1881, and after that she wrote what was for 40 years the definitive classroom history of Texas, and so Huntsville is important in that telling of Texas history to school children.
Yeah.
Then on the near side of that same card over there is Minnie Fisher Cunningham, who was born in New Waverly. I draw her into Huntsville's net as a county seat privilege, and but she was a powerful voice for women during the fight for the women's vote, and became, I believe, the first president of the National League of Women's Voters.
Wow.
Above them on the same card is Jasper Sanford, who was the first black woman librarian, well, the first black librarian at Sam Houston State, and also because of that, I believe she was the first black faculty member. So she was, you know, I think history is people who take risks and stand out in front, and these are all people who were doing that, taking those risks and standing out in front. In the upper left-hand corner is Joshua Houston, who was the freed slave of Sam and Margaret Houston. He was revered in both the black and white communities here. He's depicted as the Grand Marshal of the 1900 Juneteenth parade, and I think that parade was unusual because it happened in a common space right down this street. You know, here we are right after a parade. But the Juneteenth parade went right down Sam Houston Avenue, and so it was something that was shared by white and black Huntsvilleans at the same time. His son, Samuel Walker Houston, was really a pioneer in black education. Built a privately funded school for blacks at a high school level in the Galilee community, west town, and that was in the 1930s folded into Huntsville Public Schools, and he became the superintendent of black schools in Huntsville. So he was a widely recognized leader in black education, and felt it was very important to make sure that they had the dignity of having skills that they could use to make a living.
Well, Lee, appreciate your time. This is just absolutely beautiful, and I know this is not only going to draw people in from our community, but people literally from all over the state and all over the nation to celebrate the good happening here in Huntsville. Final question for you, just what has drawn you just to the art of art? Why have you been so involved in art, and maybe just mention that passion briefly for us?
I got started studying art in college. My deep fascination with art history began with really wondering when humans came up with certain ideas and how did they express those ideas. And we now know that there are records of cave paintings going back over 100,000 years. That to me is as important as language as a form of communication, because you can't hide what it means. Just because you don't know what the language was doesn't mean that you don't know what it was. When you go into one of these deep caves in Europe and see a picture of a mammoth, that's a mammoth. It doesn't matter what language they spoke when they painted that thing. And art is that way. It puts a history out there in front of you, or it puts an idea out there in front of you, and everybody can tell what that is. And so that's the important thing to me, is these will, I hope, raise questions for people about why this is here. What's important about this image and these people and stuff like that, and maybe get them to ask questions.
Well, great. Well, Lee, I appreciate your time. This has been such a wonderful interview, and again, thank you for what you're doing to help promote the good in our community. I'll just say it how it is. You are a local treasure here to Huntsville, Texas. So thank you, my good friend.
Thank you.